Councillor Hocking asked my question. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, officers. Thank you for your time. After 10 years, I can happily say that it's good that we have a dialogue with Highway England. I didn't think that would be ever possible. So let's keep this dialogue going and work together.
You require a meeting out of this sort of environment. As I said, it is a briefing. Arrange it through Annie or Annie's replacement. We will come down. We will spend some time with you.
Thank you very much.
That project.
That's music to our ears. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Okay.
Thank you. Right. Very quickly, we've got Milford Hollows. Mr. Labibond, is he still here? Yes, please. Can we, Annie, to introduce?
So the report introduces the idea in principle that the council leases or licenses a section of land as shown in this map to the Milford Area Preservation Group. They've expressed an interest in maintaining the land and continuing to do that. The heads of terms, if you like, are contained within paragraph 4 of this report, and we have been working with our solicitor to draw up a lease that is acceptable to the group also. So the recommendations are this evening that the council extends its thanks to the group for their dedication, which has improved this area of the city for local residents, and agree in principle that this land can be land leased or licensed to the group, and delegate the final details of the agreement, which should be in line with paragraph 4, to the clerk in consultation with the leaders of the council if required. And Mr. Lavabond represents the group.
Thank you. Just quickly, just before that, I just wanted to clarify one thing. Is that the same wording, the land lease and licensing? Is it the same wording or is it two different wordings?
I'm using the word ambivalently in the report because we have yet to conclude it, but I think it is a lease.
Lease.
That's what our solicitor is recommending, has drawn up, and that draft of that has been shared with Mr. Lavabond.
Excellent.
And we're just working on the final details of that.
So lease, can we take the word licensing off or something? Let's go, Mr. Lavabond first. Can you turn your microphone on, please? Can you turn the microphone on, please?
There we are. Is that better? You have the different values. You now be hearing me quite clearly. So I'm David Lavabond, the chairman of the group. The group's celebrated its 40-year anniversary recently. So we're quite a significant community group in the area, and we undertake all manner of activities. The purpose and point of this request is that we give some security to our tenure of our major restoration site in Milford Hollow. A great deal of work has gone into that site. A great deal of publicly raised money has also gone into that site. And I think what we're seeking is some security of tenure. We only just recently had sight, I think on Wednesday or Thursday of last week, of the draft agreement. So although we had a committee meeting last Thursday, we're yet to determine our response. We may well require further elucidation detail, but if the councillors around this table choose to support this application, then we can sort out those details with the clerk and other officers. I just wanted to say, though, we're not asking you for any money. In the past, you've been very good in providing us with grants, as have other bodies, as a result of which we've grown enormously. But I thought it might be valuable if I answered any questions which might arise from your reading of the heads of terms or indeed the draft agreement. And if there are any questions, I'll do my very best to answer them now.
Have any councillors asking a question? Yes, Councillor Cleon.
Thank you. I was just hoping to get a bit of clarification on why we're leaning towards a lease at this stage and not a license. Or is that something we're able to discuss?
We have simply put this to our solicitor, who we use for such purposes, and asked him what the most appropriate vehicle would be, and they've drafted it. I have to say I haven't read it because I was on leave last week when it was drafted. I'm looking slightly at Janine because she may have had an opportunity to read it, but I think tonight is the agreement in principle, and we have taken professional advice about a suitable vehicle to ensure that the land is properly maintained, and then when the agreement comes to an end by either party, the appropriate arrangements are in place, and that each party understands its responsibilities fully.
Is there a benefit to going lease over license routes? Has that been established?
I can't answer that directly. I've simply taken professional advice on it, and they've drafted the vehicle that they feel is most appropriate.
Councillor Sample.
I think the issuing of a license has more protection for us as the landowner. The license is by its very nature a slight, I won't say less onerous, but it is a technique by which we are clear about our intentions and our expectations. And they sign that license. A lease is slightly more. It favours the other party. I don't have any problem with proposing that we accept the recommendation as it's been put. If I've got a seconder, Chair.
We have a
Second.
Yep, second. Yep. Okay. Yes, Councillor Davies.
Thank you, Chair. As one of the ward councillors, I'm happy to support this. I think it can only be a positive move for Milford Hollow.
Yeah. So we have a motion, we have been supported and seconded. Can we have a show of hands? Supporting recommendation. Yeah, unanimous.
Thank you. That's very kind. So my assumption is that that will go ahead subject to the negotiations on the detail.
Yep, thank you.
Very many thanks.
Agenda number 14, special delegation supplement grant to 2022-2023 to Wiltshire Creative and Salisbury Museum.
This has been previously presented to the Finance and Governance Committee. This is special delegation to give the additional grant funding to those two bodies, and it is brought forward in accordance with standing orders, which has to bring it to full council to note. So the council is asked to note this only.
Okay. Noted. All in favour? Yep. Aye. Excellent. Right. Agenda 15, appointment of a new honorary recorder for the city.
Thank you, Chairman. So this report introduces the fact that the current honorary recorder for the city, His Honour Judge Andrew Barnett, is stepping down from being the recorder as he moves into retirement. He has suggested a replacement if the council is minded to carry on with this appointment. He recommends to us His Honour Judge Timothy Moosley, KC. If the council is minded to agree this, the recommendations are that we thank Judge Andrew Barnett for his service for the city, and that we approve the appointment of His Honour Judge Tim Moosley as a new honorary recorder for the city. And if those two things are carried, that you request officers arrange a mayoral reception to mark the appointment of the new recorder and commission an embroidered girdle for the new honorary recorder.
Thank you. As a chairman, I'd like to put forward the recommendation. Do I have a seconder? And read. Yep. Okay. Would anyone like to say anything? No? Okay. Can I have show of hands, please? Unanimous, yes. Thank you. Okay, now we come to the final motion. Councillor Sample, do you wish to?
Chairman, I'm slightly concerned about the time. It's nearly 10 o'clock. It might make sense for me to just move it formally and allow the debate to develop, and then I'll answer any points that arise from that debate. If you're happy with that, just to move it on so that we get home at a reasonable hour.
Would you like to read out your motions, just to be clear?
Yes, Chair. It's as per the agenda, which is the council requests that the officers now open negotiations with Wiltshire Council to ascertain the proposed terms and conditions upon which a transfer of Salisbury City Hall from Wiltshire Council to Salisbury City Council could be achieved, and to report back to members.
Okay. The motion has been seconded, yep. That's ready. Yes. Do we really? Okay, excellent. Right, Councillor Hocking.
Thank you, Chair. Unusually for me, I'm going to just, I'm a city councillor and a Wiltshire councillor, and my opinions wearing whatever hat are 180-degree opposed. So on that basis, I'm going to abstain from this vote, and I'm going to let you guys fight it out. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yep. Councillor Ed.
I just wanted to say on this that I'm sure Wiltshire Council will be delighted to hand it over to us, so we'd have to foot the costs. But the question really is how we'd do that. Because Salisbury City Council, we don't have expertise in running a large events venue, so interested to know what the plan is on that. And we know that in order to make the building safe, it'll cost in the region of £2 million. And we know that it makes a loss of an average of around about 200,000 a year. And the improvement plans that Wiltshire Council have looked at mean that it's going to be somewhere between 8 million and 25 million for the potential upgrades to the building. Realistically, 12 million minimum. And even if we didn't do any of that, it would be 2 million just to make it safe to open. So I've got three questions. One, where will the 200,000 per annum revenue running costs come from, which will obviously rise with inflation as well? Secondly, how will we fund the £2 million to make the building safe? And thirdly, how would we fund the remaining £10 million plus to upgrade the building? And I think if we don't have clear answers to these, I don't see how we can vote for it. I think it would be reckless to support it.
Councillor Little.
Yeah, I would like to move for a deferral on this because there's the meeting that area board are having when a lot of the facts that we don't really know now at this point in time will come. So I think, Councillor Sample, it's slightly premature. I'd very much would like to support this motion, but I just feel until we've had that information from area board to area board, I think it's premature. I also feel that given that we're going to lose one of our key officers, I don't know if we've got the capacity for officers to have this kind of detail engagement, because what you're going to do is, if we vote for this tonight, is that you're going to create an expectation that this council will take it on. And I think you've just heard from my colleague that there are some serious costs here. We've already taken a building on from Wiltshire Council. We're looking at it, 47 Blue Ball Road, right across. This used to bring in an income of 10,000 a year at least, which in the days of the Salisbury District Council used to fund the morality. Have I got that right? No. But I think the issue we have here is we've got a colossal cost. I mean, we all know what the costs are. I appreciate we in this community want to open the City Hall. I definitely understand that. And I understand the implications of waiting and all of the things that could be planned if it's a new one, if it's a refurbishment. But to put this tonight onto this City Council does seem a little bit premature when there's a meeting in less than 2 weeks' time. Then we get the clear view. Then, by all means, bring this back to full council and we can have the debate. So I so move that we defer.
We're going to propose a second. Let's deal with that first, and then we'll come back to yours, Councillor Linder, if that's okay. Councillor Riddle.
The reason that I'm sorry. No,
Yeah,
carry on.
good proposal. No, because there is already a motion in table and been seconded. Unless Councillor Sample respond to it, if he withdraws, then your motion will be put forward. Councillor Sample, do you?
I don't accept it. I think we have enough information in order to ask our officers to have a conversation with Wiltshire Council And I think tonight is the right time to do that. We need to show willingness that we are prepared to talk to them. As regards the actual terms of any transfer, of course, no council would be in their right minds to declare right here and now what we are prepared to tolerate, what we're prepared to pay in order to acquire a new asset. So the best thing we can do in response to Councillor Rimmer is stay completely stum about that and get the best deal we can for the people of Salisbury. So I think that the right thing to do is to decide it tonight, and I think we're quite capable of doing that. And therefore, I urge everyone to vote against the deferral and get on with it and make the decision.
Okay. Councillor Reardon.
Yeah, the reason that I've seconded Councillor Sample's motion is because I do think that Wiltshire Council has adopted delaying tactics in sorting this out. And for what all we know, it could just be another bland couple of paragraphs at the next area board meeting. And I think that pressure needs to be applied, and they need to understand that this is a matter of urgency for people in the city. Now, as one of the leaders of this council, there's clearly no way that I would be party to committing this council to an unspecified outlay for an unspecified period of time. Nobody is suggesting that. I understand that Councillor Rimmer might be worried about that, but you know, we aren't stupid. It's not going to happen. But I do think that this is a way of focusing minds on this issue. I think that there's clearly been a great deal of support for Councillor Sample's campaign on this. There is at least one other group in the city that's trying to approach this from a different angle. It would be beneficial if everybody that wants to see the City Hall restored to the state it should be in could work together and come up, you know, with a joint campaign. I don't think there's any point in you know, a divide and rule kind of situation here.
Okay,
but I do feel that it is high time that the council expressed its strong desire for Wiltshire Council to get on and do something about this. And that's where I'm supporting Councillor Sample.
Okay, we have next up Councillor Rogers.
Thank you, Chair. I don't think it's complicated at all. It's a straightforward motion. There's nothing to fight out. Simple yes. Are you willing to enter in negotiations or no? My suspicion is Wiltshire Council will say no. It's a prime piece of real estate, even with a city hall on it. But you know, it's a simple question. And when we get an answer, if it's yes, we consult our public, don't we? Because the city hall belongs to the public, belongs to the citizens of Salisbury. So let's just ask the simple question. It can be yes or no.
Yes, Councillor Corbyn.
Thank you, Chair. I think that we're Monday today. The area board is in 2 weeks, but actually for the officers to arrange a meeting to talk to each other, you could be waiting 2 weeks anyway. So actually supporting this motion to say, please, can we instruct the officers to look at it? I think that's great. And how would we manage it if we got it? You just get an external company in exactly the same way. Wiltshire Council might have failed, but it doesn't mean to say that we will. So, and there are a lot of talented guys that are local that could probably jump in and get it up and running. We can do the tribute acts. There's a lot we can do, which would be a great thing for the city and for us.
Okay, Councillor King. Councillor King, Joe King.
We can't hear you.
Oh, sorry, Councillor King.
Yeah, yes, I'm a little bit deaf. I'm waiting for an ENT appointment, so it's a bit hard. I think we all want the same thing. We want the City Hall opened, and I think we need to be working together with Wiltshire Council on this. I'm concerned about the pressure on the officers very much, because having been an officer of Salisbury District Council at a time when there was pressure put on me personally and my colleagues, it was a very difficult time. And the City Hall in those days was run by the Salisbury District Council and ran at a loss. And it ran at a loss with Wiltshire Council running it. So a company would need to come in and to run it. And I think, in my opinion, we need to wait. It's only 2 weeks. Wait until we've got the full information from Wiltshire Council, and not put pressure on the officers to do this piece of work at this time. I agree with you, Caroline. We need a discussion, but actually I feel this is the wrong time.
Thank you, Councillor Clear.
Thank you.
Heather.
If Councillor Sample doesn't mind, I was just wondering if I could ask some questions just to get some clarity on the motion. What sort of information are we looking to obtain from Wiltshire Council at this point? Is it just to find out if they would be willing to sell us the asset, or is it to get a price from them? Or are you envisioning some more sort of fact finding? I was just wondering how far we're looking at taking this idea at this stage, if that's all right.
The aim of the motion is to begin a conversation with Wiltshire Council so that we can get a clear idea really from them about what their expectations are, and for them to tell us if a transfer were to take place, you know, in what condition, for instance, the building would come across, whether it would be, you know, ready to go, or whether it would require more work in order to do that. Various issues around that, but to open a conversation with them, get a clear idea, I suppose, really of what their their expectations are. Of course, it's quite possible. There's a number of outcomes for this, and I think you're right to question them. The first possibility is that they propose something that we're happy with, and they're happy with, in which case we could go ahead and do a deal. The second thing is that we could be happy with their proposals, but they're not happy with our response, in which case there's no deal. There could be a situation where exactly the opposite happens, still no deal. And of course, it might happen that we both agree that the terms and conditions are unacceptable, and therefore, obviously, there's no deal. But we have to know what those options are going to be, so that we can have an informed debate, really. And is tonight's motion giving a green light for a blank check? No. It is just literally, let's have a conversation with them and see where they're willing to go, and then we can come back and discuss it further. I hope that answers your question.
Councillor Rimmer.
I was just going to reiterate that regardless of what conditions we take it on, unless we have millions of pounds and 200,000 extra a year sitting somewhere, that's what even considering taking it on asset transfer would mean. So just seems completely reckless to even begin the conversation, to be honest.
Thank you. I'm just going to touch on a little bit. I know Councillor Thomas might say I'm here to chair, not put my thought, but Councillor Sampo, I wholeheartedly support what you are trying to achieve. I think Salisbury deserve to have a better understanding of the City Council. However, my concern goes back to what Councillor Rimmer has said, alluded to, is we are in a huge risk of taking such a big asset without not knowing. You said asset transfer, Salisbury City Council, City Hall to Wiltshire Council to Salisbury City Council. Let's say if they'd agreed to transfer, we simply don't have 2 million or the capacity to renovate and to do it. So, and that reason, I'll just abstain, but it is a concern and something that would be very difficult to take on. Shall we go to the vote? Oh, sorry, Councillor Blackwood, I didn't realise.
Yes, I support Councillor Sample's motion for the simple reason that is engaging in a dialogue, and within that dialogue there will be facts and figures. It's not a question of shall we take it, will you give it to us? It's a question of how much, what is entailed. So it is in fact a fact-finding mission. When that is done and complete, I suggest that there is a kind of like a report that is put forward to us where we can actually look at how Wiltshire County Council ran the City Hall beforehand, and then take a decision and move forward onto the second stage, if possible, and hopefully. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to the vote.
This on the deferral or on the main motion? Can I
Main
ask?
motion. Main motion, yes. So can all this in favour? Shall we have a recorded vote? All those that are against?
Thinks it's carried, but
Yeah.
if you want to note people who are against, if they want to record that, you know, if
We might as well. It's carried. Yeah, that's fine. Carried.
Chairman, can I thank everyone who spoke? It was a good debate, and I appreciate them staying so late for it. And I'm very pleased with the way it turned out. Thank you to everyone who voted for it. Of all
Thank you
parties.
very much. So we don't have any.
Could I just say something, Chair? Sorry to interrupt. I'm over here. It's just that I know that was carried, so that's fine. But who voted against and who abstained, please? Because I don't remember. I'm sorry, it's my hearing gone. Did we have a vote on people against and
I
people
was going to,
abstaining?
yes, thank you, Councillor King, but I do have our deputy mayor often saying that let's just go carried, so that's why. Yes, but I'm sorry, Councillor, there is a there is a responsibility of voting for and against. If there is against, they should, we should hear them as well. So is that okay? Can we just
this isn't a recorded vote because that hasn't been asked for. But if you want to record the numbers of who were against and the numbers who abstained, that can be done. So if maybe people who voting against raise their hands now, that they could be counted.
Yes. Against? Sorry, Councillor Rimmer. No, because the first motion, yeah.
Sorry, can people use the microphone so we can all hear?
No, that's fine. No, the first motion motion has been seconded. That had to go first before we go to the second one. So, yeah. Yeah, the motion is carried and we don't have any further, unless anybody wishes to say something. The meeting is closed.